Buckle up. We are back for episode 9 of Travel Disasters. I'm here with my buddy Vik Pandya for another extravagant adventure. But before we get into that, a couple things about me. I have a couple of shows coming up. We have a show at Lagunitas this Saturday, August 10th at 8 p.m. for all that good stuff. It's at one of the coolest tap room and breweries in Chicago. So if you are living here and you haven't been there yet, it's a staple. Definitely check it out. And in a couple weeks, which is super exciting, we're doing our first live recording of this podcast along with my buddy Mike O'Keefe for his podcast, Buddy of the Groom, at G-Man Tavern on Sunday, August 25th. Doors open at 7, show starts at 8. It's a $5 cover. You won't regret it. It's some of me and the funniest people in Chicago right now doing what we love to do, which is live podcasting. So if you want to see what happens in this booth, go ahead and come to G-Man. You can see where the magic happens. And then for Travel Disasters, if you have a story, send it in. I want to hear it. A couple of you have already sent it already. We're going to keep it very special and do a separate episode for all of those. So send them in and we'll pick the best of the bunch to traveldisasterspodacst at gmail.com. And if you haven't already, we have all of our updated episodes, all of our guests, all pictures from their trips on our social media. We are at Travel Disasters on literally everything. And listen to us on everywhere you can find podcasts ever. SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever the hell that is. Still learning about these nerds. But if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a little subscribe. And if you're feeling super generous, give me a 5-star review and leave us a full review. It matters. I know people are like, what? That'll take more than 30 seconds. But like, it helps people find me. It helps me share it with other people. It comes up on the top podcast page with Joe Rogan, which is super huge. This week's review comes from Ellen C. Yoop, and it's called Giggle Like a Creep. And it says, thank you for the giggles, MKB and friends. Not even 5 minutes in, and I'm giggling on an NYC subway. I hope more people have terrible trips so I can laugh at them. Peace. Today on the episode, we have my buddy Vik Pandya. You've seen him on NBC. You've seen him on the miniseries Code Switch. He's all over Chicago, and he's taking us on a trip to his homeland of India with his parents, where he learns about public transportation. He learns how to drive a car there, and there will be leather. So you're not going to want to miss this. It's pretty intense, but it all works out. Stay tuned for this episode of Travel Disasters. Buckle up! Baby, we're going on the trip from hell, where every flight is missed, they lose your luggage, and you're in the middle seat between a sumo wrestler and a screaming baby. Don't worry, I'm coming along for the ride. I'm Mary Kate Beck, and this is Travel Disasters. What's going on, buddy?
What's up? How are you?
I'm so good.
You know what's funny about that intro? Every time I hear that plane noise, I always think a crash is immediately following.
God.
This is how morbid. So I was like, oh my God, this is about to get real, off the jump. Yeah, but it's like all happy and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is a different vibe, you know?
Yeah, we're safe here in this cozy little studio.
I'm like, let's go. Let's talk about the crash. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's Castaway. I had a little volleyball.
It brought me to a beach in my mind.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is important for any podcast.
And then PTSD from explosions.
Are
you all right?
Well, I used to work at United Airlines. So
I've had
plenty of terrible travel experiences.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. But it's like, it was also the best time.
You worked at United, were you a little flight attendant or were you
I worked in the
customer?
corporate side. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I worked in revenue management and then I worked in employee engagement.
What does employee engagement mean?
Employee engagement is basically like HR, like finding out what motivates employees, like helping them.
Boring. I'm already over it.
Yeah. It's boring, but it's like cool because you got to travel for free and I got to see a lot of stuff. And I was just starting comedy at the time, so I was able to book shows on the road, kind of self-book and
that's awesome.
Not really like I shouldn't have been, but I was like, hey, I can do 15 minutes. And I'm like, I have 3. But at the time it was great because it helped me build that material quickly and like force myself into these situations.
Kind of like a sink or swim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't care because I was like in Ontario. Like I'm like, no one, if I bomb here, it's not going to get back to Chicago.
It's like ruin my reputation. No one cares about what Canadians think.
No, obviously not. Unless you're Trudeau, then I care everything about you. But that's different.
That's so funny. I don't know if anyone knows this. I tried becoming a flight attendant. They flew me out to Houston. It was with Delta Airlines. And the whole time it's intense.
Yeah, dude. It's hard. It's not easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before I even flew out there, I had to do a series of video interviews, which is so awkward. It's like FaceTiming with yourself. Like they give you a question and then you have 2 minutes to look at yourself and answer it. It's so uncomfortable.
Those always go poorly. I feel like.
So bad. But it does weed out a bunch of weirdos, I'm sure, because there's really no qualifications for it. They're like, do you have hands? Can you serve drinks?
Can you smile?
Yeah. So I flew to Houston for the Delta interviews. And the whole time I'm like freaking out, and I have a tattoo, and that's a big no, and it's on my wrist, so it's visible. Like you could have a fucking mural on your back, and it wouldn't matter. But if it's anything from your elbows to your hands, or from like your mid thigh to your feet, like you're out. You're disqualified.
You should have worked at Spirit. They hire exclusively people with tattoos.
Really? Yeah, that's I love branding. That. Oh my god, I totally should have. Except I don't want a janky ass like used plane.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they
used plane.
I feel like it's like the 2002 like Toyota Camrys of planes that
they go to like the plane graveyard
has.
And they're like, you know what, we can fix that.
Yeah, well, just throw some yellow paint on it. Yeah.
Even the fact that it's yellow paint, it's like caution. Like this is bad. It looks like a warning, like a police warning tape,
I know.
But it's the entire plane.
I flew Spirit once and I will never do it again. But I'm in these interviews and like they literally after every question, it's like a test. They want to break you. They're like, okay, so tell me about your customer service experience and do you have a tattoo? And I'm like,
such a weird.
And I was lying. And then finally after like round 3, I was breaking and I had a watch on. I covered my wrist tattoo with makeup. And finally they were like, now, Mary Kate, look me in the eyes and tell me that you don't have a tattoo. And I was like, fine, I have a tattoo.
I like how it's funny that they're like, look, we're Delta. We're very classy. Like, what? Like, it's not.
It's fucked up, dude. Like, the fucking things on the job description was like must wear mascara every day.
It's one of the few things they can still. I don't know why they can get away with it, but they can discriminate.
Stockings. Yeah. Oh my god! Must like.
They say don't be overweight.
Yes.
They literally say on there you have to be.
Requirements. It was fucked up. Like honestly, I'm so glad that I did not become one because they treat flight attendants so poorly.
It's also like it's an exhausting. Like and I was exhausted traveling.
$25,000 a year.
Not worth. It's like people who are
nice
like
to your flight attendants, y'all. They're glorified waitresses, and they do not get enough credit.
And I don't think you can tip them, but we should start incorporating. I don't know what that would be like. That might be a little more demeaning. You're like, weird. Here's a quarter for you. Yeah, you killed it. Yeah,
great smile, sweetheart. Here's a 5. Oh.
All right, don't do that. I had a good thought immediately. Give them a positive Yelp review. I guess I don't know. My ex-girlfriend. When I was working at United, I was dating this girl, and she didn't work at the time. Then she became a flight attendant, and I basically kind of introduced her to some people and she applied, and then like years later, I found out she became a flight attendant.
Oh wow!
And I kind of like my dream was to fly her route. And just like be in the chair, like in like first class. Like this is my fantasy. I'll be like in first class. and she comes in and she's like, I was like, oh, didn't expect to see you here. I'm like working this job I got you. Like just to be.
Bitch.
But you know what's funny is like she was doing a local route from like. It was like an hour flight. Like it was, she was the only flight on the plane. So I would never be traveling between these two terrible cities or whatever it was. But that's like my fantasies to finally meet her on the plane one day and be like, I'm like uber famous or I'm something I'm higher than I am now. And then I'm just like, you messed up.
Good for you, Vic. I like that little revenge
This is the type
flight.
of stuff I hold on to.
You wrote it in your diary. You're like, dear diary, today I'm going to fuck with Veronica. Yeah. Like, I love it. So tell us, so you worked for United Airlines.
Yes.
But that's not related to your travel disaster.
It is
okay.
not.
What do we have in store for us today?
So I know people can't tell on the podcast, but I am Indian. It's a huge shock.
I sound white.
I know I sound very white. People are always like that. I feel misled.
You can't hear skin color.
My favorite thing to happen at a show recently, as I'm headlining the show, I'm doing 30 minutes. At the end of my set, I do a joke where I start the joke where I'm like, I'm Indian, and I like go into it. And then as soon as I said that I'm Indian, someone in the back like gasped. And this is at the end of the show. Keep in mind, it's been like, I've been up there for like 28 minutes.
I've been talking about it, right?
And then this person gasped and like, you're Indian? They're like, I thought you were Mexican. And then I was like, where have you been this entire show?
I was like, why are you so disappointed, you weirdo?
And then the best thing was he goes, that changes everything. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
it was so funny. I didn't know how to address it. I was just like, this is why Trump won. That's my default.
Yes, that's so heartbreaking.
It was weird.
It in Chicago?
It was in Chicago.
I'm so sorry.
And it was at a veterans hall, which I was like, I don't know if
there's definitely some racists.
And I also, but I couldn't. I didn't want to provoke. Like normally, I don't know. You probably see me do crowd work. I'm pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? You're right. I should have told you I was in. I should have.
I'm so sorry, I'm Indian.
Should have worn a hat to identify. I should have had the bindi on, just a dot. I don't know. I could have done more.
That's so heartbreaking.
I should have come in with like a Bollywood intro. I really should have. It was my fault.
Really leaned into your.
I like to end every set with a music video. That's how I let people know.
Yes.
Very Slumdog Millionaire style.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
But my travel story is so my parents visit India like every few years, and when I was younger I would go with them every like 5 to 6 years because this is a long trip. Like you go for like a month because it's so far
parents, away. Immigrants?
They're born in India, came here for school, and they've been here like ever since.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
So I was born here, but I go back like here and there. But it's always fun to go back. The problem is it's just such a journey to get back there because
it's like the flight?
If it's a direct flight, it's like almost 22 hours.
Wow, yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So almost everyone like splits it up. Like you go like do a layover in Germany or you go to Dubai, but it's still like you just feel like you've already done the trip by the time you get there.
Wow,
it's like 2 days of travel. It's horrible. So things are bound to go wrong on something like that. But I think I was like 15. This is like the last time I went. It's been a long time, and we went to Delhi, which is the capital of India. So it was the first time seeing the city. And, India has like, it's so many people. People don't realize like what crowded it is.
I can't even fathom it. I've heard stories of like just the sidewalks are mosh pits.
It's just like, you know how like if you ever walk in the Loop in Chicago, like during like, the morning or right after work, like 5, and it's like pretty bad, but it's still like, you can see and like you can move that. It's like that times 10 just all the time.
See, what I'm imagining is like, have you ever been to a music festival and like after the last show when everybody's shuffling out and everyone's like
mass rush to the exit.
Yes, that's like what I'm like imagining, just like the rush hour would be. It's like
the thing. What that causes is like when people drive there, like people don't adhere to lanes. Like everyone just like drives. Like people are amazing drivers there. I don't know how people do it honestly, but like it's just a very like there's hand signals. There's all sorts of like shit that people do.
Right.
And they get by, but it takes like hours to progress.
Wow.
Like feet, So we're in Delhi and we wanted to go see the Taj Mahal. I'd never seen the Taj Mahal before, and it's in Agra, which is like a 3.5 hour drive. It's like 140 miles.
Yeah.
So 3.5 hours, like we left at like 7 in the morning or something. Yeah. It takes us 8 hours.
Holy moly.
To get to the Taj Mahal just because of the traffic.
How did you get there? Did you take a bus?
So
I hear a lot of people do the bus.
Yeah, the bus. We were like not going to do that. We got a car. So like in India, a big thing is to get like a driver and like you can. Yeah, it sounds fancy, but again, a billion people. Somebody's got to be driving someone. Yeah, it's like that's literally this is before Uber. So people are just like, you can hire a driver and
for like the week or
the day,
cool.
and they'll stay with you the whole time and like just sit.
So nice.
It's cool, but it's also sad because like when you leave for the, like, you go do the fun stuff, they're just like in the car.
Aww.
Like, it's like when you go on a field trip from school and the bus driver just like, all right, guys, like, you go have fun. I'm going to hang out here.
I'm going to read the paper.
Yeah, like what?
I'm going to do Sudoku.
And it's in India, so it's like 100 degrees. They're just like, they turn the car off.
It breaks my heart.
It's like, it's sad. So we go there, we're driving, and it's just like a horrible time to get there. And we're getting close to Taj Mahal, and we're stopped like at an intersection.
Yeah.
And this guy, my dad's in the front seat with the driver. Some dude just opens the door on my dad's side, gets in the car.
What?
And is just talking to the driver. And my dad is like, who is this guy? And the driver's like, oh, this is your tour guide. He's like,
oh my goodness.
He's like, this is the tour guide. And we're like, we didn't ask for a tour guide. He's like, no, like it comes with the... I was like, wait,
it's complimentary.
Like,
I have heard that like people in India are way nice. Like they will like hand you a tissue on like a bus, or if you sneeze, they will hand you a snack. They'll share everything with you.
It's true,
like,
but they're
just very
like
close for comfort.
Yes.
Like in like no
they're
personal
nice.
space.
They're nice if they want something from you. So they know we're Americans because like how we look, we dress. I'm like taller than everyone there.
Yeah.
Like it's just like apparent. They know, so they're like, oh, let's like help these people. And I'm not saying everyone is like this, but it's a very like this guy got in the car because he's like, I want to make money too. Like I'm the tour guide. I'm gonna
holy moly.
So he gets in the car and it's just this random dude that no one knows. And then we're just like, all right, we have a tour guide now. Yeah. Like he's part of the group. Like this is it.
Inserted himself
in. And he's like, it's just so funny because he's also, this guy looked ridiculous. Like he had a leather coat on. It's India. It's no need for leather.
Degrees,
there's no need for that. He's wearing 3 shirts underneath that. 3.
He's like soaked.
He had a polo. He had, he's dry, which is also weird. I was like, who?
Sir, you're an alien.
You got like a cool system in there. I don't know what you had. It's like a computer. Like he was liquid cooled. But it was wild because this guy is just like, and he's so swagged out. He's got rings, he's got sunglasses, and I'm like, are you a tour guide or just like, I feel like you're auditioning for something all the time. Like you just look ridiculous. Yes. And then he's just like, as we're driving, he's like pointing out stuff. He's like, yeah, like nonsensical facts, like facts that are not related to the trip.
Like, dude, this is not adding up.
Yeah, he's like, that store over there is like pretty cool if you want to like go in there for something. Because I basically think he's referring all of his friends along the route.
Like, they sell really cool CDs.
Yeah. So we finally get to the Taj Mahal, and what's really sad about this overpopulation thing is in India, it's just like there's slums up till the Taj Mahal.
Wow.
So the Taj Mahal is a huge, like little, the grounds are pretty big.
Yeah.
But if you look at it from like an aerial view, and it's just like there's slums right up until the gate, pretty much. It's crazy. It like doesn't make sense. Because then you go into this thing, it's like a sanctuary. It's super nice.
Yeah.
So we get there and we're in line, and then there's always like, if people who travel probably know, when you go to like a monument, there's usually like 2 prices. There's like people who live in the country or residents, and then there's like the foreigner fee, right?
Yes.
So my parents are they have dual citizenship.
Oh, cool.
And
they're funny, like, fuck you, Vic. We're in the discount.
What's so funny is this is again what I was talking about. The Indian guy who's behind the counter looks, he's like, yeah, it's going to be like 10 times more for these kids. Like, he's like, it's going to be a lot of money.
And he's like, give it to me.
Yeah, he's like, give it to me directly. And I'm like, dude, seriously?
Like,
so it's like,
fuck out of here.
Oh my God, we pay like, it's not even like a small, it's a huge jump. Are your parents
feeding into this guy?
Well, they're like...
And how old are you?
I think, like I said, I think I was like 15 or 16 at the time.
Okay.
But I'm like aware of this is like not okay. But I'm also like... Whatever, we made it all the way here. We just want to go in at this point.
Like, I don't want to cause any trouble.
Yeah.
Let's just see
literally, I think my dad just like threw the dude some money and was like, "Fucking let us go in."
Fuck away from us.
So we go in, and it's like they're at least like trying to let people in at like a reasonable volume because there's so many people.
Yeah.
But of course, we landed on some like religious holiday, so there's like hella people in there, just like all around.
Oh wow!
And in the actual monument itself, you can go in and like you just basically walk around because it's like a shrine to this guy's wife, and you walk around basically. And I go in there, and you have to take your shoes off because it's like a holy site.
Right.
So you take your shoes off, but there's just so many people in there that you're like crowded. So I remember, and this is like. I should have gotten tested after this happened.
Tested?
Well, I go in there.
Like STD?
No. That's a separate issue. Well, this is a different podcast.
Like, but we walk on in the Taj Mahal?
It's dark in there. There's no like external lights. It's like a couple of candles, so it's like pitch black in there, and you're just supposed to walk around. There's like 300 people in there.
Jesus.
And like someone steps on my foot, and like I feel it, and it hurts.
Wow,
and I come out
terrifying.
And it's like the claustrophobic, like a worst nightmare, right?
I would not be able to do it.
My leg is bleeding.
Dude.
And I'm like freaking out because I'm like, I got malaria. Like, I don't know what the diseases are.
Or like those crazy people that like stab you with AIDS needles.
Yes. And that's what I was thinking. Like, you know, people were doing that in like vending machines, like in the 80s. They would like put an AIDS needle in like a Coke machine.
Ooh, and then you reach in.
And you reach in, yeah.
Thick.
So I'm like, I have AIDS. Like, this is it.
Bye, Mom and Dad. Let's just.
And I'm just like bleeding. But what it's kind of cool about that is like my blood is at the Taj Mahal, which is like, must mean something. I don't know.
You are a human sacrifice.
I feel like I'm like an Indian vampire. Like, I don't know what its good powers is giving me, but it was there. And then like, it just was funny because like, this is happening and no one even notices. There's so much like humanity that they're just like, yeah, this is like, you're bleeding. That's it. Like, all right, man, whatever. And the tour guide, of course, this is where the tour guide came in handy, though. He had a first aid kit.
Oh, there you go.
Among all the other swag items he had.
He like opens his leather jacket and it's like,
he had like all the wares.
I got gadgets and gizmos and first aid kits. What do you need, kid?
So I was like, all right, man, you can stay for another hour. We'll keep you around.
Tolerate you.
But yeah, that was like what was also crazy is after we left the Taj Mahal, we were just like walking around the area and they have these things called auto rickshaws in India, which are these like 3-wheel vehicles essentially.
Oh, cool.
And it's basically like, it's a driver's in the front seat and it's like a joystick almost to drive it.
Holy shit.
And then there's just, it can fit like 3 people in the back, but like pretty crammed in. I think I know what you're
talking about. And then is it just like a little, it looks kind of like it looks like those, you know how people have like bikes here? But so this is actually like motor powered.
This is motor powered, correct.
And there's a little canopy over
There's a canopy. They're always covered.
Okay. I got you.
But it's essentially, they call them like rickshaws here now, but they like started there as the motorized versions. And the dude was like, I'm with my cousins at this point. I think my parents were like at a store. So the guy's like, hey, you want to drive?
Are you like, fuck yeah, I do. Like, I just got my permit.
Yeah. I'm like, I bled today already. If I'm about to die, let's do it. So, and what's funny about this is what's kind of creepy about this whole situation is he sits me in the front and he doesn't get out the car.
On his lap.
I'm 15. Like, I'm too old. I'm on his lap.
Ew. Vic. This is good. Now you should definitely get tested. My God.
I know. And this is like, oh God, it was so weird. So because it's a stick shift. So we're both straddling. We're both like straddling the stick shift.
Ew.
And I'm driving and he's like, and he's shifting because I don't know how to drive it. Yeah,
if you can't see what Vic is doing right now, but this man is shifting the stick. He's shifting the sticks. Yeah, and
like
in between your legs,
and it's also like
jostling this thing around.
And I'm like, I felt like, you know, like when you ride a motorcycle, like you have to hold the waist of the person in front. He's got one hand on my waist and one hand on the stick. And
so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I've been waiting to be held like that since then because it was the most intimate I've ever.
I'm step chasing that dragon, you know.
So I got to drive that, which is pretty cool. Again, extremely unsafe. I had no idea. Like this is like in a crowded, like I'm just accelerating. Dude. He's just shifting. He's like, yeah, it's fine. Like people are honking at us. Like people are walking. People are hitting the car.
They're probably like, look at these two. Boyfriends.
I know. They're like, look at these two guys. God. So
showing off their love.
And the last like crazy part of this India trip story is so a big thing in India is like when you have family there and you have like property or you have like other stuff, like you have to get money from India. That's like you get money from these whatever you have and you have to bring it over to the States. So people just like build up like money in like rupees, they call it the Indian currency.
Yeah.
And then they will just like, they don't wire it. Like they physically bring money.
Oh, wow.
So
like suitcases
like
of rupees?
Literally. And before they used to have a rule where you could bring like $10,000 equivalent. So now I think they cut it down or something. But prior to that, people were just bringing over like tons of money because then you have to deal with like all the fees and stuff.
Right.
So when we go there, we like to spend the money we have there. That way we don't have to bring it over because there's no point.
Yeah.
Like it's easier for us now to just spend it there.
Yeah. Like just get rid of it instead of paying the fucking interest.
Yeah,
and shit,
exactly. So my dad's brother like sent him money, like his money, but to pick up in Delhi.
Oh God.
So he's like, yeah, I sent. So I assume when he said like I sent him money, it's like a Western Union type of situation. Not that at all. We're in Delhi.
It's like a briefcase.
No, it was. Oh my God. We're in Delhi and we're in the capital and we have to drive somewhere. We drive to a point where in the city where you can't progress with the car anymore. Like it's so dense in traffic that you have to go by foot. So we stopped the car there, and then me and my dad and my dad's sister was with us. We keep going, and everyone else stays behind. And we're like going further and further into this thing, and we get one of those rickshaws. This is a bicycle one now. They have those too. So the guy's biking us through these alleyways, and it's like taking us deeper and deeper into this like weird.
This feels wrong.
Oh, it just feels like so shady.
What
yeah.
the fuck?
I'm like, I don't know where we're going. Like, I don't know what part of the city this is. Like, it could be shady. Whoa. And my dad is also like, this is super shady. But the guy's like, yeah, we're going. And then we start seeing people on like rooftops with this like AK-47s. Like just straight up like heavy material and guns. Like they're all just like guarding, just patrolling. But they're not military people. These are just dudes. Like these are just like it's like the tour guide, like leather coat. Like,
right. Yeah. They're like suspicious.
These are just people.
This is just how they.
And this is like before Narcos came out, but this is exactly like the scene.
Yes, I was just thinking that. I'm like, oh, it feels very druggy.
Yeah, it's very druggy. So we get to this like place, and the guy's like, all right, go up, and there's a guy at the front, and he's like, yeah, like. My dad gave him his name. It's like Pandya is our last name.
Your
so the guy's like,
might be a drug lord.
My dad is like low key, yeah. And this is why my dad had like full facial hair, so he didn't give a fuck. He's like, listen, I grew this for this moment.
I'm
like,
in. I'm in. I blend in so well.
And we go up these stairs, and the door opens, and there's literally like a scene out of a movie. There's a dude behind a desk, just like piles of money on the desk, just like stacks, like piles of money, and he's like. He just does this, like motions to come forward to the desk.
Like no words are
And he's
spoken.
like, what's your last name? And my dad gives him his name. And the guy just takes money, like the amount that I guess my dad's brother had like allotted.
What?
And he just peels it off and he just gives it to him. There's no like paper. There's no like signature. He's just like, yeah, here's like $5,000. Like, here you go.
Holy shit.
And that was it. Like that. And then we just went back. But it was
just because your brother said so.
Yeah. And
like,
he's just like,
what?
It was so, I'm like, is this a bank? Like, what is this?
Oh my God.
And we're just like, my dad was like, yeah, so that just happened. Like, he was just like, that was a thing. And then after, I haven't talked to my dad's brother since then. I'm like, who did you go with?
Yeah,
like,
you need to get details on this.
Yeah. I was like, why couldn't you just like shoot us like a Venmo, dog?
Yeah.
Like, what? Why do we have to do this? This was too much.
Holy shit.
But yeah, it's just funny being in a place where like, it doesn't seem like it's real life, but it's like, it's cool because there's so much like that's just happening and we don't like even know, but it's like common for them. Like no one there thought it was weird. Like everyone there was like, yeah, this is the guy who gives money to people and also could kill you. Like this is just his role, like in the city. And like,
just don't be fucking weird like, or give him a reason to shoot you.
Just be cool. Yeah, be cool.
This is how it works.
I think that was that was definitely the last crazy part. But then, yeah, after that, enjoyed that like super long ride home. I usually just get drunk on the flight and go home.
Dude.
Yeah, because it's so long.
Can you drink in India?
Yeah.
What am I thinking of?
You're thinking about it, but Dubai.
Oh, okay. Where you can't you can't drink there at all.
I mean, you can find it.
Yeah.
But you're not supposed to drink.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. And then are you going back anytime soon?
So I may be going back. My brother just got engaged. So a big thing is when you get engaged, like you have to go to India and buy all the stuff for the wedding, like outfits and like it's like very expensive to do that here. So people go back to India and buy like tons of stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mini moon too.
Yes,
where
exactly.
It's like, let's make it a little trip.
And his girlfriend's white, so I'm like, she has no idea what she's in for.
Oh,
like, it's
wow, that'll be so cool. Yeah. So they're gonna do probably like an Eastern wedding and a Western wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, cool.
So it's gonna be like, I think we're trying to go either in December, and I haven't been like, and now at this point, it's been over 10 years. So I'm excited to go back, but I'm also like, I'm going to try to book some shows out there because it's a pretty good scene.
Oh my God, hell yeah. That's so great.
So it should be fun.
I hope they pay well. I heard that they do pay well.
I think they do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, I've opened for a couple like really famous like Indian comedians. So like I've networked with them and they're like, yeah, anytime you come over, like we'll just like do a show.
Oh, that's
like,
so great.
So I think with their like appeal, I can just like get in. But we'll see. I mean, I've heard the indie scene is out there is pretty good.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Well, remember me when you're famous or you're.
Well, if you learn Hindi and want to come out and do some stand up,
I'll get on it right now. I'm gonna buy the Rosetta Stone.
Well, that's the thing. Every time I open for these like. Because these like Indian people will find me through weird ways. Like I got like an email one time and I was like, it wasn't like through my website. It was just like to my personal email. And I was like, how did they even get this? But I'm like, they're like, yeah, we heard about you through this one dude. And they're like, do you want to open for this guy? And it's like 1,300 people in like Skokie. And I was like, fuck yeah. But it's funny because I also am like, I only do stand up in English. I'm like, as you've heard on the podcast, I'm very white. Like I'm not. I'm Indian in color, but like that's it, dude. And it's just funny because they're like, no, like that's fine. And there've been some great shows. They've been super fun.
Oh, that's awesome. And then any other just trips in general coming up? What's going on with you?
I am going to Detroit on the July 12th and the 13th.
It's a sexy city.
Much smaller trip than India, but I'm headlining a club out there.
Wow.
My first full
Plug it. Where?
Headlining. It's in Hamtramck. How do you say this? Hold on. Yeah. Hamtramck. I wrote it down phonetically because I'm like, this shit is spelled like so bizarre. Hamtramck.
Hamtramck.
Yeah. It's fucking dumb.
We got a Detroit, we got a Michigan native as our fact checker.
And I really should get it right because I know I'm going to like write some topical jokes on it. I'm like, Hamtramck, and I'm going to like fuck up my whole intro.
Oh my God, yeah.
So yeah, Hamtramck, I'm there the 12th and the 13th of July at the Independent Comedy Club. And then the 13th, I'm doing 313 Comedy, which is in Detroit.
Wow.
So got some road. I'm probably going to do some other stuff in Michigan too, but we'll see.
Yeah, might as well. That's awesome.
That's my next trip.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on
this has been really fun. I feel like people are going to be like, I'm never going to India now. Like, I feel like I gave it
It makes me want to go more, though. It sounds fascinating.
It's great, though. There's like food and stuff. Like, it's cool.
There's food and stuff. I would hope so.
You've seen Slumdog Millionaire. Come on, just fucking go to the country. We need money.
Awesome. And then where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at VP Comedy, or check out my website at teamuscomedy.com.
What is it?
And teamuscomedy.com.
Oh, Team Us.
Team Us, yeah. And my personal website is embedded in that page, but that's my company's website. We produce a lot of shows. We have our own podcast now. So we have a ton of stuff going on.
What's your podcast called?
It's called Punchline, and it's the news as told by comedians. So kind of like a weekend update, one-liner news show with interviews with like people we find newsworthy in Chicago and beyond. So
I love it.
And we roast stuff, and that's fun. It's just a fun time. Yeah, it's actually informative, but it's also like entertaining.
Good. That's what I need. I can't with the shit on the news. No, it's seriously the worst.
Yeah, no, we definitely like. It's very our point of view, but it's still informative, and it's like it's entertaining. And I think it's all comedians who do it, so it's a good time.
Perfect. Well, make sure to check out Vik, and thank you for being on the show. This was awesome. All right. Bye.
Bye, everyone. I waved. Just to let you know.
Bye.